Now, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has said on X that his country is committed to peace in the region, but he's also laid out what he sees as a path to de-escalation. He said the only way to end this war, ignited by the Zionist regime and the US, is recognizing Iran's legitimate rights, payment of reparations, and firm international guarantees against future aggression. Shahram Akbarzadeh is the director of the Middle East Studies Forum at Deakin University. He joins us live from Melbourne. A very warm welcome to the programme. So we've seen President Pezeshkian posting, what would we call it, peace conditions on social media. Let's go through it bit by bit. I mean, because he's asking for, firstly, a recognition of Iran's, quote, legitimate rights. What does he mean by that?
Well, thanks for having me. I think what we're seeing is a repetition of Iran's long-standing demands in relation to its right to develop its own nuclear program. So for Iran, this is a matter of national sovereignty. Iran is party to NPT, and as a result, sees itself to have legitimate rights and claim to nuclear power. So that's primarily an old and existing demand by the authorities in Iran. So Pezeshkian is simply repeating that.
I mean, that must be like a red rag to a bull for the Americans right now, with Pezeshkian basically digging in his heels and saying, irrespective of all of the bombs that have been raining down on Tehran, we still maintain the right to nuclear energy and a defence programme, a ballistic defence programme, without fear of being destroyed.
Well, that's exactly right. I think Pezeshkian is, again, reiterating and repeating the hardline policies of Iran. This is what got Iran into this war in the first place. And that's why Iran is being punished by the US and Israel. And it does signify that the hardline policies of Iran are pretty much intact, and there has been no cracks in the regime to even question some of those really basic principles of the Iranian regime.
And another example of, as you say, the Iranian regime holding firm is this demand of payment of reparations. I mean, presumably demanding compensation, what, for the Americans and the Israelis for the huge damage to infrastructure?
Well, absolutely. There's been a lot of damage done to the Iranian infrastructure, not just defense and military, but civilian, as we have heard. So this is, in a way, a symbolic gesture to say that you have been the aggressor, you need to pay for it. You broke it, you pay for it.
Right. And lastly, the last point, international guarantees, presumably ironclad assurances that this won't happen again.
Well, this really speaks to the level of distrust that the Iranians have towards the United States. You have to remember that Iran was in talks with the United States twice over its nuclear program, and twice the United States just attacked Iran in the middle of talks. So even before this, the Iranian authorities were saying, how can we trust Trump? He tore up the nuclear deal that Obama had agreed on. How can we trust him now? So now this is a restatement of how deeply distrustful and suspicious of Trump and the US they are in Iran.
I was going to ask you whether you feel that there's a kind of good cop, bad cop thing going on at the moment with Masoud Pezeshkian offering this kind of olive branch of diplomacy while the IRGC continues to launch missiles and hit tankers. But what you've explained basically is that you feel that the entire leadership is coalescing around a hardline stance on how to prosecute this war.
That's absolutely right. I don't think there's a case of good cop, bad cop here. I think Pezeshkian showed a bit of remorse early on, a couple of days ago, when he apologized for Iran's attack on neighboring countries, but he was quickly corrected, and he has really come back in. He's been brought back to line. And the authorities are driving a hardline policy, especially with Mujtaba Khamenei now as the supreme leader, the hardline policy has just been reaffirmed.
Okay. Shahram Akbarzadeh, Director of the Middle East Studies Forum at Deakin University. Many thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.